all about ferns, propagating and growing them down here in the deep south. But first, I need to finish some work that I started in my front flower bed. So come along with me and let's get started. I have several large oak trees in my yard, so instead of raking the leaves up and burning them, I collect them and use them around my yard in my flower beds. Oak leaves make the perfect mulch. They're clean, they break down easy, they suppress the weeds, conserve moisture, and as they decompose, they add nutrients to the ground. I've been putting oak leaves underneath and around my azaleas for years, and they seem to love it. Azaleas like a little acid to the soil, and oak leaves can provide this. However, there will be some argument that says they don't really add enough acid to make a difference, but mine tend to love it. I also use the leaves around my ferns. It adds for a organic compost. This brings me to the first fern I would like to share with you today. The Macho Fern. It grows to about 3 feet tall. It spreads easily. You can use it as a ground cover or to camouflage some of your more leggy looking plants. This huge fern and this other fern over here was planted last year. I bought one hanging basket, divided it into 2 parts, and planted it. And this is how much that has grown over one growing season. The easiest way that you can propagate ferns is just by dividing and replanting. They grow really shallow, and when it's in a organic compost like these leaves underneath my oak trees, it's easy to pull up. See, I'm not even having to use a shovel to dig them up. Once it's divided, it can be placed directly into the ground. Doesn't need to have a deep hole. I just used a hoe to dig a shallow hole, then covered the roots back up. Ferns are a woodland plant. They prefer mostly shady areas, but some can tolerate a little sun. I planted this area about 3 growing seasons ago. I used the very technique that I just got through showing you, and it started out with just 2 plants. Fern number 2 is the Wart Fern, or what I like to call the oak leaf fern. It grows less than a foot in height. It spreads fairly quickly, and some people like to plant it as a ground cover. This fern spreads by producing rhizomes right underneath the surface of the ground. So a very good way to propagate is to divide and plant the rhizomes. When replanting ferns, you want to plant in organic rich soil that is moist but not wet. The third and final fern I would like to share with you is the Boston fern. It is the classic fern that you see in hanging baskets. It grows and spreads very quickly, and some people even say that it is invasive. This fern spreads by sending shoots out, so it is easily propagated by pulling up the shoots and then transplanting them. This particular fern is native to Florida, and it is also deer resistant, so a lot of gardeners like to use it for a ground cover. I'm going to transplant the Boston fern into these little pots so that I can make some hanging baskets and give them as gifts. As you saw earlier, the bigger plants let off shoots and smaller plants came up. So right now I'm just dividing those, and I will take each little fern and plant them in a separate pot. These pots are some that I had left over from older plants, probably tomato plants. I like saving my old pots so that I could recycle them. Each pot has drainage holes in the bottom, so I added a little moss to help with the drainage but not hold the water. And now I'm just planting each baby fern in a pot to itself, lightly covering it with soil. I did the same with the oak leaf fern and the Macho Fern, just in a little bit bigger pot.